Okay, so hey guys, I'm trying to figure this out. I need to edit because I look scary. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I have my pictures up um, on my laptop about the questions that I have received so far. So I'll go through those first, and then if you guys encounter any questions along the way, you can ask, and I'll try to address those as we go on. I don't know. Okay, so I guess I could share a picture with you guys. That's pretty cool. I'm figuring this out. So, okay, so the first question that I have is resources for counting macros and fat loss while breastfeeding and maintaining milk supply. So, I am not a mom, and so I don't know personally much about macros and breastfeeding, but I do follow Lexis, who is a mom, and she counts macros, and she's very knowledgeable on that. So I'm going to comment her name here, so you guys, whoever asked that question, can find her. So her Instagram is Lexis Gordon. I honestly, I think that I can just tag her here. Again, learning this, so Lexis Gordon. Good resource. Okay. So that's the first question. So I just tagged her name there, so you guys will have that. The filter keeps going away, and I'm looking really scary, so that should stay. Okay. Anyways, so that was the first question. Okay, next question. Do you do the same 5 workouts each week, then repeat 6 to 8 weeks doing progressive overload? So yes. So Monday through Friday, I work out. I do push, pull, lower split for Monday and Wednesday, and I focus on hypertrophy. And I do the same workouts on Monday within push. I do push day on Monday. The same day, same next day, same week. No, the next week on Monday, I will do the same workouts, but I will be focusing on progressive overload. So yes, I do the same workouts. And then on Thursday and Friday, I do an upper body. Thursday, I do upper body. Friday, I do lower body, and I focus on a strength workout, so focusing more on less reps and more weight. So I do that for 6 weeks. On the 6th week, I'll do a deload, and that is more focused on just hypertrophy the whole week and lower weights and moderate wet reps. So that's that question. Next question I had was, what's something you look forward to every day? That's a nice question. So I would have to say just getting up and going to the gym. I like my rice cakes and candy that I eat before the gym. That's my carb source. And just, I don't know, looking forward to the good things that can happen during the day. Being busy every day, that stresses me out, but I do try to look at the positive side of that. And just being with my family, my boyfriend, my cats. I love to hang out with them, as you guys know. So that's what I look forward to. Let's see. Do you think you will ever stop tracking macros completely? Yeah, for sure. I don't want to track macros for the rest of my life, but for me right now, I'm really focusing on building muscle and, increasing my intake. And I know that wouldn't really be possible without tracking macros and making sure that I'm eating in a sufficient amount of a surplus. So I just know that if I wasn't tracking my macros, I wouldn't be eating enough, and that would be not aligning with my goals. So So for now, my goal is to continue tracking for a while, build muscle, but like years down the road, I don't think I will still be. I do, though, honestly, enjoy it. I mean, I don't find it hindering anything anymore. I do think at one point that I was a little bit too focused on it, but now that I'm especially in a surplus and a growth phase, I have a lot more flexibility with it, and I'm not allowing it to kind of affect all my decisions as I was at one point in the past. So the next question that I have is, do you take any supplements? So I do. As I noted in a story about a few months ago, I stopped taking my birth control just for a few reasons, but I wanted to try to get my period back naturally. So I take turmeric and I take a liver support supplement for that. That's kind of temporary just because it's important to take those. If I noted on it in another story, but your liver kind of takes a hit because you are putting in estrogen into your body that's not really being produced by your body. So your liver kind of takes that and is kind of trying to flush it out. So it's like working overtime while you are on the pill. So liver support kind of helps that once you are off of it, and just gives your body kind of what it needs to move forward. So I take those, and then I do take pre-workout sometimes before the gym. I haven't taken it in the past week because I was out, but I'm supposed to get it on Monday. And that is just because it helps my performance in the gym. I find that I just get better lifts with it, especially when I'm working out early in the morning, and sometimes I just don't have that motivation. And what else? I take vitamin D, D3. I take an omega-3 every day, and I take 3 grams of creatine, and I take B complex too for hormones. So, and just going off of that. So I got a question, what are you doing, because this is kind of relating. What are you doing to get your period back after stopping birth control? I lost my period, and I also stopped taking birth control, and I want it back. So the first thing that I did before I even stopped taking the pill was I kind of did some research, and I got a book to read that's called Beyond the Pill, and you can get that on Amazon. But really, I just wanted to learn about what my body was kind of going through while taking the pill, and kind of, how it was affecting me. And there are so many different factors, and it affects people differently. So it can affect your mood. It will affect your hormones. It can lead to more stress. It can lead to more anxiety. Some people also have issues with acne, pimples, either being on or off the pill, or getting off the pill. And if you are on it for a good amount of time, your body gets used to it. So when you are off of it, you should expect changes. And there are a lot of different ways that you can, treat your body after getting off of the pill. But, they have those detoxes, they have, no alcohol, no sugar, no refined carbs, and all of that stuff. And I did read about that, but for me personally, coming from a background of kind of restrictive eating, I knew that wasn't the route for me. So what I have been doing now is, and we all know that I love my dessert, so it's not gonna happen, not cutting out sugar completely. I did follow some of the recipes in that book to kind of give me some ideas and all of that, but it was just, again, coming from a background that coming from a background of restrictive eating, I just knew that a strict meal plan was just not for me. So I did some recipes, but for me specifically, what I'm doing now is just increasing my intake. So focusing on just eating more. And realistically, that is kind of what I got out of everything that I read, is just increase your intake and eat more. So, I mean, me being in a building and surplus phase, it kind of works out. I have not gotten my period back yet. But again, it takes months, so I'm not really expecting to get it back right away. The other thing is I am getting labs taken this month. So if you are deciding to go off of the pill, I would recommend going to a doctor, talking to your endocrinologist, which I did, and then just getting labs taken to see what your hormone levels are at. So again, you are putting progesterone and estrogen into your body. You also are affecting your testosterone and your thyroid. So like those should all be tested and just to see where your levels are at, because those affect a lot of things. So my advice would just be to focus on your intake, eat more, talk to your doctor, get your hormones tested, and then move from there. So for me, I actually don't know if my estrogen levels are really low, if my testosterone levels are high. There are various things that could be leading to me not getting my period. It also could just be not weighing enough. So that is why I'm increasing, and so we'll see from there. I will also keep you guys updated on that as well. So, yes, to answer the question, do you have any gut or digestive issues? So, nothing serious. I mean, I don't have leaky gut syndrome or anything like that. I am very interested in that, so I do listen to podcasts and things like that. But in terms of digestion, I think that on given days, definitely. I mean, I wouldn't say that it's an issue that I'm struggling with and I'm not going to the bathroom for weeks. In that case, you probably should, maybe talk to your doctor, but dry throat. But there are things that lead to digestive issues, various things, which I can't really troubleshoot that, but it could be, you're not sleeping well, you're not eating enough, you're eating too close. I mean, you could space out your meal. So sometimes if you're eating too much protein all in one meal and not spacing out your meals enough, that could also lead to digestive issues, because if you're eating over 50 grams of protein per meal, I would kind of scale that back and kind of maybe try to go for more 30 grams per meal, because again, too much protein all at once, back to back to back, is hard on your tummy and may lead to digestive issues. Not drinking enough water could also be the issue. Stress and sleep are really big with that as well. So there are a lot of different things that you could do. Do you think it's okay to eat 45 per meal? 45 grams of protein. So I would say that's a bit much. Depends on how much you're spacing out your meals. So if you're eating 45 grams of protein for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, I would try to scale it back a bit. I mean, what's your protein goal for the whole day? Do calories count on the weekend? Yes, they do. Sorry, but do you think it's okay to eat 45 grams per meal? Just going back to that question. I would try to aim more for 30 grams of protein per meal. It depends on again, if you want to comment, but what's your protein goal overall? Because I don't know. I would say 45 is a little bit too much, but I'm hindering on this question, so I'll go to the next one. Do you think I can still gain muscle taking plant-based protein powder and not whey? Yes, definitely. There are, and just comparing this to bodybuilders that are focusing on building muscle, there are vegan bodybuilders, there are vegetarian bodybuilders. You can definitely build muscle with just a plant-based diet. I would try to focus on getting in protein as much as you can, but also not backing up your system by eating way too much fiber. So, but yeah, for sure. Long story short, you can gain muscle on a plant-based diet. And going back to the grams of protein, yeah, 50 grams of protein is a bit too much, I would say, per meal. Every single day. It's okay once in a while, but if you're doing that and you're not having any digestive issues, that's okay. But I would say try to keep it to like 30 grams per meal. So, when did you feel your food focus decrease? What stage of life were you in? That's a great question. My drinking water. So, honestly, my food focus is still there. I still struggle with it at times. I'm not going to lie to you guys, but it definitely decreased more recently when I was, increasing my intake and not really focusing that much on like weighing my food perfectly. I'm not trying to lose weight at all. And I'm also expecting to gain weight right now. So, not being perfect. I mean, I am pretty good with my macros, but, I think knowing that when I started tracking macros and realizing how much food that I actually could eat without having to be, that fearful of focusing on food and all of that stuff, it definitely did decrease. But again, going back to when I first started macro tracking, I definitely was still really focused on food because I was just trying to maintain eating more. But again, decreasing as time goes on, and that's something that I like to work on with my clients a lot. I always ask them how their relationship is with food because I feel that a lot of us are food focused and we're kind of fearing different types of food. So, but that was a really good question. So to kind of go back and answer that, I think I saw it decrease probably more within the last year, but again, I'm still working on it. It kind of takes a long time and it's a mental thing that you just have to work on and realize that, food doesn't rule all. So, okay, next question. Do you count your steps? I do. I focus on 10,000 steps a day. I have the Apple Watch, so I try to make sure that I get 10,000 steps a day, even on days that I don't work out. So on the weekends, I'll just go for a walk or something. At the gym, I usually just walk on the treadmill. That's usually my cardio anyway. So yes, 10,000 steps while I was away this weekend. I got like 18,000 steps because we were walking everywhere. But that's not my goal. My goal is 10,000, and if I don't get it, like on Wednesday, I was at my boyfriend's in the evening and we were watching Netflix. So I got like 9,000 steps a day. I focus more on like the weekly average. So if I'm a little bit off for the day, I don't like get upset about it. But yes, I do count my steps. So, can you lose weight as you are building muscle? Or you have to go through a fat loss or cut first. So, yeah. If you're trying to lose weight, you should be focusing on losing weight. If you're trying to build muscle, you should be focusing on building muscle. So they don't really go hand in hand. You don't want to do both at the same time. So, I mean, to go through a fat loss or cut first, it depends on your goals right now. So if you are, overweight and trying to lose weight, then I would recommend going through a fat loss phase first. But if you're kind of stalled and hitting a point where like you're just not losing weight anymore, then I think that is a time where you should be reversing. So, it really, if you're wanting to build muscle, that should be your primary focus. So you should be focusing on increasing your intake and lifting weights in the gym. If you want to lose weight, then again, like that you can't do both. You should not do both at the same time. So that's the answer to that question. Which books do you recommend for learning how to plan your workouts? Good question. So there are a few out there. I'm going to come back to that question because I forget the name of the one that I have in my desk right now. Oh wait, no. The New Rules of Lifting. That's the book that I read. That's a really good book. It's on Amazon. It's not expensive, but it talks about like the basic movements that you can utilize. So I made a post about it a while ago, but you don't need to overcomplicate what you're doing in the gym. You should really be focusing on like the primary movements. So the hip hinge, the lunge, the squat, the deadlift, those kinds of things. And that's what I incorporate in my clients' programs. But that book is really good and it goes through all of that. So that's a book that I would recommend if you're trying to do your own programs for sure. Question, okay. How long has your fitness journey been? Okay. So, well, in high school, I really did not work out. I ran cross country on varsity and I kind of got burnt out of that. So then I started to play volleyball, which I really was not very good at, but it's fine. It was fun. So that was like, I don't know, worked out maybe like once in a blue moon. But when I got to college, I started doing the Bikini Body Guide with my roommate. And that's kind of what got me into fitness. And then from there, I kind of transformed into tracking my macros and focusing on strength in the gym. So it's been a while. I mean, I graduated college in 2018. So, but I started at college in 2014, so now it's 2020. I would say though I got more serious about it like 2 years ago, where I was focusing on making sure I ate enough and lifting heavy weights in the gym. So yeah, I guess I would say like a little bit, like 2 years, a little bit more than 2 years, but if you're putting everything together, then like a lot more. So if you guys have questions too, you can ask them in the comments, but I'm still going through these, but I'll get to both of them. So it's almost 4 anyways, actually. Okay, other question. How to deal with comments from my mom about my arms getting too muscular? Good question. I think I can kind of talk to this about me gaining weight. Just fearing what other people think. It's not like you need to I would first of all kind of talk with her and just be like, this is my body. I get that that's your opinion, but I just don't want to hear it. That's not really acceptable because you have different goals than her and she views things differently than you do. So, it's not really fair for her to say that to you. And also, people's opinions shouldn't affect you at all. So for me right now, going through a bulking phase or, in a surplus, my main concern is what other people like, oh, wow, like she gained weight, yada, yada. But realistically, like people don't notice as much as you do, like, because you're looking at yourself every single day. And so for me, my goal right now is to build muscle. I want to have toned arms. And your mom's view of too muscular may be different from your own view. So I would just tell her to kind of keep her comments to herself. It's your body, and so I don't think that that's fair for her to say your arms are too muscular, because that's your body, and you want them to look that way. So that's, I think those are all of the questions that I have already. So if you guys want to ask a few questions in the comments, I can get to those. If I don't get any more, then I'll just end this now. But I'm trying to see. Yeah, I think that was all that I had. So yeah. If you guys have anything else, I can go to those, or I'll just end the video. My break actually does end in like a minute, so. Any more questions? Okay, so I think I'm going to end it now. Hopefully I was able to address all of the questions that you guys had and that this was helpful to you guys. I will save it and then see if I can post it afterwards so you guys can get a recap of everything. But thanks everybody for joining, and sorry for the beginning. I was like trying to figure this all out. But I hope you guys all have a great Friday. And if you have another question that you just didn't want to ask in the comment, you can DM me and I'll answer you guys. So Bye, everybody.